Welcome back, friends, to Cute T's Journey. I'm QT. We are going to transform this beautiful groundhog tree behind me into a spring equinox tree. It is the season, and we need to celebrate it. I'm a little bit behind on transforming this tree. Life got busy and I got a little bit behind. So we are going to transform this tree together. I do not have all the decorations laid out like I usually do when I did the groundhog tree. So we are going to transform this tree together in this video, step by step. So hold on, wait for it, get ready to transform this groundhog tree into a spring equinox tree. I am very excited about it. Stay tuned. Hi, welcome back everyone to QT's Journey. I'm QT and we are talking about the spring equinox and transforming my groundhog tree into a spring equinox tree. So the spring equinox is about balance, transition, and the beginning and new beginnings. In real life is not always perfect and on time or on schedule, and neither is this video. So I wanted to make this video on the first day of the spring equinox, and I didn't. We are 2 days, or really 3 days now, because this is nighttime, 3 days behind schedule, but I really wanted to make this video. And the spring equinox is a time period. It is not a day. So because of that, I said we are going to do this video on the spring equinox, since the spring equinox is an extended period of time, not just a day. So we are going to do it. So the spring equinox is a wonderful time. It is when the moon, because it's winter time, basically starts to go down. So we're gonna go from dark to light, okay? And the sun is gonna get more and more powerful. It is so it is the end of darkness and the return of light, which is very, very, very exciting because we all want warmer days. It's the balance of light versus dark. On equinox, on the day of the equinox, which was, as I said, 3 days ago, the day and the night were equal. And it also represents the energy and renewal and moving forward into spring. With the moving forward into spring, it brings growth in life in terms of plants begin to grow again because the sunlight becomes more powerful. In order to kind of bring the symmetry together and bring the connection of the moon and the sun together, I have created for my spring equinox tree a moon with a golden hue around it. And the reason why the moon has a golden hue around it is because it represents the darkness going away and the light coming in, and the connection between the sun and the moon. So it's a beautiful representation, and this will be one of my decorations on the tree, and I'm going to show you how it all comes together. We are going to use string, and we are going to use a coil here, and we are going to put it on the tree, and it's going to be great. So of course, when we're talking about the moon, we also have to have the sun. So we have the sun, and I painted a face because I wanted a face on it. I thought it was a great happy time because it is spring, it is growth, it is the return of the light. So we got to celebrate the return of the light and new beginnings. So that in itself is exciting, and I can't wait to show you how these ornaments are going to go on the tree and all come together. I did want to tell you how I did it. So basically let me get you. So we just had wooden ornaments, and I bought these off of Amazon. Okay, so I wanted to tell everyone that. These are what came off of Amazon. Then I had paint, yellow paint for the sun, black paint for the face for the sun, and then to make the gray for the moon. Okay, and I didn't want to make the moon black because it is the return of the sun. So the moon starts becoming softer as the equinox comes around, because the sun gets stronger and it brings light and it brings new beginnings and renewal and balance. So I wanted to make sure that it was more of a gray than a black. So I combined the gray and the white to make the color. And every single color is not perfect, and every single moon is not perfect. As you can see, there's some little, I went into the light with the gray, but it doesn't have to be perfect. When spring comes and plants grow, no matter what you do, things do not need to be perfect. You just need to try. You need to go forward in your life. You need to have a positive attitude. You need to basically sow whatever new ideas, new beginnings you want to do, and watch whatever you're doing grow. And that's the same with the spring equinox. We are going to see, and plants are the very, very, very first thing that comes to mind. We get to see it grow. And I, on that note, just planted Pearl Blancha, which is one of my Christmas trees. It was this year's Christmas tree. We planted Pearl Blancha in the backyard, so no longer on my deck, in the backyard. So I will show you Pearl Blancha during this video, all nice and settled in the backyard, all happy that she is now planted instead of just sitting on my deck. She needed to go into the ground. She needed to grow. She needed to start setting down roots. And this is the perfect time to do it. And actually, we did it a couple days before the spring equinox. So that was actually perfect. It's the perfect time to plant, to grow. And that makes me really excited that I kind of did it around that time. And I didn't know much about the spring equinox until I did this tree. But I've learned a lot. I like how it represents us going from dark to light, and how even sometimes in the darkest days during the winter, light will always shine through at the end, which is now spring. So this is going to be an exciting transformation. I do love all the symbolism in this. So can't wait to show you how this all comes together. I will see you back in a little bit. Hi, welcome back to QT's Journey. I'm QT. So we are making decorations for my tree. It is a spring equinox tree, and I decided to take you on the journey on how I make my decorations. Okay, we are going to put together the decorations for the tree. I finished painting these, which are the ornaments, and now we are going to put them on the garland, which is this big mess. And we have string that I cut And it's going to look like this, and we are going to attach it. I got this garland because it kind of reminded me of the Spring Equinox. I purchased this all at the Dollar Tree, in case anybody's wondering, and I would love to say it's $1, but now it's like $1.25, and some are $1.50, so I'm not sure which one this is. I want to say this is $1.25. So, and it's nice and long, and it has a glittery texture to it, which I kind of like. And it's green. And the reason I like green is because it's growth. And the Spring Equinox is all about growth in life. That's what the meaning is, and that is what we are shooting for the Spring Equinox, to celebrate life and growth and new beginnings. So we are going to untangle this big mess. And this is what happens when you are doing crafts. And I had used this garland as decoration for St. Patrick's Day. And I said, wow, instead of St. Patrick's Day, we can just now do Spring Equinox. So I'm going to just put the ornaments simultaneously down here. And then we're going to just put it on the tree. Okay, and we are using, again, the sun and the moon. And the reason why they are so good together, as we had said, was because there is a connection, and it represents moving forward into spring and energy and renewal, because day and night are equal during the equinox. So that is what we are celebrating. As I have said, we were making Spring Equinox decorations to replace the Groundhog tree with Spring Equinox decorations, since we are turning this Groundhog tree into a Spring Equinox tree. So we are going to take off the Groundhog decorations and put the Spring Equinox decorations, and I'm going to do that right now. Hi! So we are going to look at the ornaments I made. The first up is the garland. It is for the suns and the moon that I mentioned. Here it is. So I put them every so often, and they are pulling. So I do need to, here we go. I do need to straighten them out a little bit before putting them on the tree, but they are really cute. Let me see if I double them up. Here we go. Actually, I can triple them up. So I can just move them a little bit and they will stay. And again, these represent light, new beginnings, light with the dark, new beginnings. Because you can't have light without dark, basically. Always remember that. One always goes with the other. And I did have one of my sons fall off, but that's just what happens when you make arts and crafts. So this is what it looks like. And it is going to go on the tree on both sides. Because remember, my tree is split up into winter. Then it's going to be the spring equinox, and then it's going to be winter. That is how the tree is divided. So this is one of the decorations. The other decoration is going to be ornaments of leaves. Again, representing new beginnings, new growth. There we go. We have, this one has a flower on it. This one doesn't. So I have a bunch of these that we're going to put on the tree. Okay. And again, all of this I got at the dollar store, except for the ornaments, the suns and the moon, I got Amazon. I'll order those. Here is some flower ornaments that I made. Now, the flower ornaments and these were originally, if you buy them at the dollar store, they're garland. But I actually cut them and then put, if you can see, wire around them to make them ornaments. And then this garland had string, so I just cut the string because it was one big rope. I cut the rope and made them into ornaments. Okay. Lastly, I'm going to put on the tree these cute eggs, and these were from the dollar store. They did come just like this in packages, and we are going to put this on. And 'tis the season for spring. So those are the the last decoration. We can't forget the tree topper, which is, ready? A globe. Gotta have a globe for the spring equinox because, yes, it goes all over the world. That is why we have a globe. We are going to use this as our tree topper. So I'm going to now go decorate the tree. The tree is all decorated. Look at how beautiful it is with all of its decorations. It has the moon, the sun, and the flowers. Let me let you see it up close. We are going to bring this up close so you can see it. Sorry. And you can see the globe way up, the globe way up top there. There's our globe. And then there is one of the eggs. And here is one of the leaves with flowers on it. And here is an egg. And a pine cone. I left the pine cones on for growth. And here's a sun. And here is the moon. And down here are flowers blooming, as you can see, and how beautiful our tree is. And it is just light bright, and it's also dark. So as we had said, this tree represents, it's a transition point. It's a balance point between winter and spring. That is why we still have, and I'm going to show you, because I don't know if you can see it, the winter side still. So if everyone can see, there is the winter side. And we have now the equinox side. Hold on, we're gonna flip this tree around. We have the equinox side that we just decorated. And we have the spring side. And the reason we have all three sides is because this tree represents transition. It is the balance point between winter and spring. It is between light and dark, rest and growth, winter versus spring. It is the middle, this tree in the middle section here, the equinox section, as we call it now, is the heartbeat of the tree. The equinox is about balance, not replacement. It is when the night and the day are equal, which is basically when winter and spring are equal. That is the equinox. It is a beautiful time. We have to remember in our lives that winter doesn't just go away overnight, and spring doesn't just come overnight. It is a gradual transition from winter into spring. Temperatures here can fluctuate between 30 degrees all the way to 80 degrees. It is crazy. And the reason why they fluctuate so much is because winter hasn't totally left us yet, and spring hasn't totally come yet. We are in a transition period. That is why it's a spring equinox. That's why we celebrate it. That's why spring equinox, even though it starts on March 20th until now, it's not one day. It is a length of time. And that's why this tree is not late, because the spring equinox isn't just one day. It is a length of time. This tree shows the journey, not just the destination. And in our lives, I think we can all relate to that, correct? That we go through things in our lives and we transition from one point to another in our lives. Whether when your children are young, you do different things, and as they get older, you start transitioning to do other things. Like, for example, I talked about my son driving. When he was young, he could not drive. But now that he has turned to the ripe old age of 16, he is able to drive. So we have now transitioned slowly, but he does not have his full license yet, which means he still needs his mom to be in the car with him, or somebody 21, which actually is his older sister, and he does prefer to be with her because she is not holding on to the side of, the car just going, okay, is this going to be over? She actually is like on her phone scrolling, and I'm like, okay, you need to give him pointers. And she's like, yeah, I'm giving him pointers. And I'm like, okay. But that is that's a good example of transition in our lives. And I am sure you all have them in your life. And that is a good example of how our spring equinox shows us how life is all transitional and how we have to embrace it and embrace nature and how nature teaches us every single day. I did promise you all to show you, after I showed you our beautiful spring equinox tree, I'm going to show you one more time without me in it, our beautiful spring equinox tree, and maybe I'm going to try to have this go a little bit. The trees outside, my trees that I have just planted, and I spruced the other 4 up, and I will show you what they all look like in the ground, because spring equinox is all about growth, rest, and new beginnings. So we are going to go and look at them. Let's go. Okay, we are outside, and here we go. So the first tree, let me see if we can get the first tree. There we go. The first tree is blue. The second one is Norway. And the third way is Pearl Blanche. That is the new one that we just planted. That was the one that was on the patio that you all saw in the first video. And then this last one is Lucky. Now, there is one in between Lucky, if you can see it. It is so small. Lucky and Pearl Blanche, it's very, very small. It is Miracle. We can go and look at Miracle, because Miracle, it is so small. What happened was when we were, and I don't know if I told you this, but when we were renovating and putting the pool in, we had a black fence up. It's like plastic black fence for construction. If I can remember what it's called, I will let you know, but it's a plastic black fence. And this little tree was growing between the wood fence and this black fence. And we hadn't gotten a tree that year because we had 2 trees up on the porch, and I was like, we can't fit another tree, it's gonna die. We haven't put the other 2 in because the pool wasn't done yet. And so we found this behind the plastic fence, and I said, it is such a miracle that this little tree survived. It had plastic all over it. It was, I don't even know if it could breathe. I guess it could because it survived. But I said it was such a miracle that we dug it up and we planted it in line with our other trees when we had everything planted. So let me show you the littlest addition to our tree. Our trees, let's see if I can get it. Hold on a minute. I'm not very, here, maybe if I can I'll do a selfie with the tree. There we go. There is Miracle. Miracle is not looking like the other trees. It's not big and luscious and bright, and kind of, in a way, looks like a weed. And actually, when I had the other trees done, I guess I wasn't very specific, even though I said 5. They didn't put nice soil down, and like they did and I'll show you. See how Lucky has nice soil and some mulch and all of that? They didn't do that with Miracle. So I do have some extra. So I am going to have to come out here probably this weekend and put that around Lucky, dig like a little circle around it, get some grass up, put some nice conditioning soil down, put some nice mulch down. It gives them a little bit of refresh, gives them nutrients to help them grow a little bit more, to pep up. Helps also with when it rains, it helps them keep the water. So if it doesn't rain for a while, they have a little bit to drink. That is what they're telling me. I am not an arborist. I am not even a plant person. I pretty much kill my plants. I don't do well. Like, for example, over here. I wonder why my husband has this up. Okay, over here, it is not looking too good. And even my pot kind of put this up, tipped over, not sure why. Too many leaves, I guess. So I have to come and now, see, I just fixed it. I have to come and now clean this up. This is one of my to-dos. So I wasn't intending to do that, but this will be probably something I do probably next weekend. But these poor plants used to bloom, used to look great. Now they're all dead. So I'll be digging these up and going to my local nursery to say, well, this spot is constantly in the sun 24/7, no matter what I do. What plant will thrive in that condition? Because obviously when I planted these were not the correct plants. So I need to go and ask them what plants are going to survive in this condition. So we will see what they say. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the spring equinox and me converting my tree from the groundhog tree to the spring equinox tree. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe this video and stay tuned for some more videos. I hope everyone has a great day. Bye.